Jerry Jeudy. So we have our first wide receiver off of the board. Jerry Jeudy, the Denver Broncos, probably the best route runner in his class, goes to a very good situation. Talk about superflex league, somebody that gets an uptick. Drew Lock now with Melvin Gordon, Noah Fant, Courtland Sutton, and now you add Jerry Jeudy into the mix. I think this is a very nice situation for Jeudy. He offsets Courtland Sutton pretty nicely here. Matt, what do you think of Jerry Jeudy in Denver?
I mean, I like the landing spot. Obviously, Jerry Jeudy's a really one of those almost bulletproof type of prospects. The one trepidation I have here with the pick is Courtland Sutton. There's Noah Fant. There's a lot of other players and mouths to feed there. Not to mention Melvin Gordon going there as well. So it's going to be a slow burn, I think, before you're getting a ton of production out of a guy like Jerry Jeudy, who potentially could have gone, I think, to a better spot for his fantasy production. So for me,
Nick?
this is just a bit high for me.
Nick?
Yeah, a lot of what Matt said. I mean, also KJ Hamler. They got
Right.
Albert O. I won't even pronounce that one. I could if I wanted to, but
no, you couldn't. Prove it. Prove it.
Let's see.
Off memory.
Quadrado? Wait, no, that's not right.
That's not even close.
Oqua. I can't think of it right now. Anyway,
yeah,
I had it down.
Busted.
I had it down pre-draft. But they're telling a story in Denver. That's the thing. And I just put out a tweet before we started the podcast of basically just like, you need to cut bait on Bayshon Hamilton, whatever people are hyping him up, because my boy Courtland Sutton is the wide receiver 1 there. Jeudy will be 2. Hamler's going to take the top off, and they're going to have some package plays for him. You have Fant, you have Albert O, you have Melvin. We can't forget about Lindsey either. I mean, they're just loaded, and it's like they're all going to eat into each other. So, like as Matt's saying, you might want to take Jeudy down. He might have a really slow start to his career. It might be 4th season before he has a breakout maybe. And I think until then, you could acquire him much more cheaper. Owners get frustrated, things like that. So he's not my wide receiver 1. I understand some people really like his game, but I think that, they think back to the Blitnikoff year versus this last year and kind of what's happened in his landing spot.
Garrett?
Yeah, we're 3 for 3 on this. I can think of at least 2 receivers that I would want more and a running back that I would want more at this point. And so I think this was just kind of a reach. Sometimes you got to get your guy, but there's also opportunities to take the best player available on the board. And I don't think this was a case, even if you just wanted to argue that he was the best player regardless of landing spot, I don't even think that's true. So then plus a kind of a downtick in a landing spot overall, he'll be a good NFL player. I just don't know that he's going to be a good fantasy player. So I wouldn't have made this selection personally.
Yeah, I think we're 4 for 4 here too, because he is not my number 1 receiver either. I think the one pro you could sit here when it comes to fantasy production, I think if you're looking for best case scenario, is saying that Courtland Sutton's going to see the number 1 cornerback on here, and Jerry Jeudy's route running is so good and savvy enough where he might not be a high fantasy guy just because he's not going to score a lot of touchdowns, but he's still going to catch about 85, 90 footballs for 1,100 yards and be that high-end wide receiver too, almost somewhat like a kind of a Stephon Diggs for the Denver Broncos.
Hey, Garrett.
You have something to chime in there?
Yeah. Okwabunam. Okay. Eat it.
That's about 8 syllables too late, Nick.
One other thing that I do wonder about is who's going to play the slot there? Is Jeudy going to get to play the slot? Or are they going to make him line up outside and put Hamler in the slot? Because I don't see Hamler being an outside receiver. So one of those guys is going to lose some value there unless they're running 4 wide receiver sets.
What about Fant outside, though? Fant can play on the outside, and he has.
It's true, but still that means one of those guys is either off the field. Said unless you're running 4, like you're running that spread, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
We might see situations where they have Lindsey and Melvin Gordon on the field, and they move Melvin Gordon out to the slant a lot as well.
Or if they love Albert O, they could run 12 personnel.
And Albert O's already got that connection with Drew Lock, his former quarterback at Missouri.
I'm not saying it, Nick. I know better. I know I can't.
Okwabunam. Come on, boys.
Okay, no.